Imagine this, the sunrise coming up over the pier right there on the beach, yachts, boats, and hustling and bustling going on in the canal, and someone teeing off on a perfectly manicured green in Boca. These aren't three random cities that I just chose off of Google that really set the vibe here in South Florida, and they are completely different. One is perfect for those who love water, being around constant energy and boating. One is on the come up and could become the next big thing here in South Florida. I'm super bullish on it. And then one is pretty much the epitome of luxury. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know which city matches you and your family's lifestyle and why picking just one isn't as easy as it might sound. South Florida isn't just one big blur of beaches. Now, if you're not from here, I could 100% see how it seems like that, but it's really a collection of cities, each with its own vibe, its own crowd, and its own way of living the coastal and South Florida dream. And when you compare Fort Lauderdale, Boca, and even Pompano Beach, you're looking at three completely different ways to live that South Florida dream and ultimately call this place home. Choosing the right one comes down to a couple of things. You gotta find a city that matches your lifestyle, your budget, and where you see yourself a few years from now. I've been in these streets, not like that. Okay, that just definitely not the best way to word that. But I've been in them, I've seen the neighborhoods change and watched how the market really moves here, especially as time goes on. Some areas are growing faster than anyone expected. And yeah, you're going to start hearing about them a lot more very, very soon. Others hold steady year after year because they've already got everything people want and pretty much know about. Now, first up is the city that's quietly leveling up while most of the spotlight has been somewhere else. And honestly, I'm probably one of the most excited people, not only South Florida, but probably the entire internet. Now, Pompano's the underdog, as you can see, Pompano Beach, that's finally waking up. We're nicknaming it Pompa, yes, I'm just kidding. But the sunrise rising up over the fishing pier, locals already casting lines, and dive boats heading out of the Lighthouse Point Inlet to reefs and shipwrecks you really won't find in any tourist brochure. Pompano is the place to be. The beach is wide and clean, with enough space to actually hear the waves and not everyone around you's music. No wall of umbrellas, no shoulder-to-shoulder chaos. Weekends here really have a rhythm that's completely different from a lot of other places in South Florida. Paddleboarding or early morning fishing, maybe even just going out on the boat because fishing's not my thing. Brunch at Beach House or Lucky Fish, then maybe catching a concert at the Pompano Beach Amphitheater or trivia at 26 Degree Brewing. And you can't forget the OG dinner at Flanagan's. You gotta try the rib rolls. Now the downtown's changing fast, with Atlantic Boulevard leading you to new coffee shops, wine bars, and new restaurants that really make it hard to go home before sunset. It still has that old Florida charm that people really love about living in Pompano, but the whole area is completely leveling up thanks to a new wave of new development projects, from the pier and fishing village, where we are, to fresh residential and retail spaces that are really reshaping the entire Pompano skyline. Real estate, still one of the best, pretty much waterfront or close to the beach value plays in all of South Florida. You can live on the water here for almost $1 million less than you can in Fort Lauderdale. Condos are in about the $300,000 range. Single family homes start in the $400,000 range. And like I said, about median price point live on the water in Fort Lauderdale, you're at $2.5 million. Here in Pompano, you're under $1.5 million. You can't beat that. Boca and Fort Lauderdale are definitely more expensive. Now the good ones here do move fast. You're not in a bidding war. You'll see in other cities in South Florida. And with the city actively investing in upgrades, the growth potential here is real. You can just feel it and you can even see it. The pier and the fishing village was the first wave and it's been completed. Now there's a ton of other projects coming, like the Pomp, which is the new entertainment complex anchored by Topgolf, Harrah's Casino, PBR, and even a Costco. All we need is a Trader Joe's. Not to mention the wave of new development luxury condos coming to the beach. Not gonna lie, when they first announced them, I was kind of shocked, but the Ritz-Carlton sold out in 6 months. Pompano's not chasing mega yachts or glitz. It's about pretty much the space to breathe, living on the water, and neighbors who know your name, with a lifestyle being built around living on the water, boating, fishing, and maybe a little bit of the beach, not just looking at it from your balcony. And if Pompano already has you picturing life here, I hope it does, or even if you're still torn between a couple different spots, that's where my team and I come into play. We work with buyers just like you every single day here in Pampa, yes, and every corner of South Florida. You can call us, text us, or email us. All of our info is in the description and on the screen, and we'll help you figure out which city truly matches the way that you want to live. Now, if ocean lifestyle to you means a boat docked out back, high-rise views, buzzing day and night with constant energy, you're gonna wanna see what's waiting just south in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale doesn't just have waterfront living like this, it's ultimately built around it. With over 165 miles of canals, boats are pretty much as common as cars, and honestly, some of the boats here are worth more than the houses by far. We're known as the Venice of America, with mornings starting at Bahia Mar. You can hear the rigging as people start to get ready to head out. Also, over on Las Olas, it starts with coffee runs, maybe some yoga, Pilates, brunch at Louis Bossi's, then some boutique shopping. And by night, a line of restaurants, lounges, and even some rooftops are buzzing till all hours of the morning. Plus, you got the Cheesecake Factory. Then a few blocks away, Flagler Village brings the energy. And on the last Saturday of the month, that village even has an art walk that fills the streets with murals, food trucks, and live music. Add in events like the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, which is the largest in-water boat show in the entire world, and improvements along the Riverwalk, the city's staying firmly on the map for both visitors and locals who want to call this place home. Now, each neighborhood here in Fort Lauderdale truly does have its own vibe. You have Victoria Park, which has walkable historic streets. My personal favorite, Rio, multi-million-dollar homes with deep water dockage, walkability, and parks of the neighborhood. Then you have Coral Ridge with larger lots, golf, and even waterfront homes. Now, real estate here covers the full spectrum. You have older condos that could start in about the $400,000 range, inland single-family homes in the $700,000 range, and then waterfront properties like these that stretch into the multi-million-dollar range. And like I said, some of the boats, well, maybe not that one, but some of them are more than the homes. Now, if you're eyeing a beachfront high-rise, just know that some of these older beachfront buildings, especially in the Gulf Mile area, may be facing some upcoming concrete safety upgrades that could bring significant assessments. Nothing to be afraid of, just something to be aware of. But that's not the case across the entire condo market. I will say demand here stays pretty steady year-round thanks to a mix of seasonal and full-time residents. Now, living here in Fort Lauderdale definitely means you got options. You can go fishing in the morning, maybe just go for a sunrise cruise, hit the beach in the afternoon, then cocktails at sunset, and one of my favorites, coconuts right there on the water. The trade-off, seasonal traffic and tourist-heavy spots that never really quiet down. So now that you've seen Pompano's laid-back charm, and then Fort Lauderdale's high-energy boating scene in downtown, which one's more your style? Let me know in the comments. I really want to know which one you prefer, because I think Pompano's slowly trending towards Fort Lauderdale. And if neither the beach town pace nor the nonstop buzz feels like your forever spot, we do have a third option: quieter, more private, and unapologetically polished. Now, Boca is where South Florida really slows down, but in the best way possible. We call it the Boca Bubble, and you can tell the minute that you step foot in the Boca that it's completely different from anywhere else here in South Florida. You have palm-lined streets, Mediterranean architecture, and neighborhoods where gates open to reveal golf courses, lakes, waterfront homes, and even private clubs. Not to mention, there's no billboards and no car dealerships. Now, Meisner Park, where we're at, is the centerpiece. High-end shopping, stringlet patios, live music drifting from the amphitheater. Then, down by the water, you have Red Reef Park, which is part reef, part picnic spot, with local familiar faces that you'll probably see week to week. We also have South Beach Pavilion, which keeps it just as quiet, shaded tables, easy parking if you get there early, crystal clear water. And a day here might start with coffee at Carmela, then golfing at the Boca Resort, then lunch at Vinny's, which might have one of the biggest wraps that you've ever seen. Go ahead and go. You gotta get the chicken Caesar one, add buffalo sauce as the little hidden hack, you won't be disappointed. Then drive down Palmetto Park Road. With the ocean right ahead, you have everything right here. Family-built parks like that of Sugar Sand, Patch Reef, and new luxury developments like Alina Residences and Royal Palm Pillow continue to attract both longtime locals and newcomers. Not to mention all the brand new single family home communities out west, like that of Lotus, you have Boca Bridges, Seven Bridges, plenty of different options. And all this helps to continue to attract both longtime locals and newcomers looking for that Boca lifestyle. You got retirees, golfers, and young families alike, all drawn here for a couple different things: top-rated schools, private clubs, and safety. Real estate here starts at approximately the $800,000 range for single family homes, and then for condos, you can be in about the $700,000 range, with waterfront estates jumping pretty quickly into the 8 figures. Prime spots with deep water access, golf course views, maybe even oceanfront, don't really hit the market that often, and they do go pretty fast. The payoff though? Safety, amenities, and value that hold strong year after year. Pros, it's upscale pretty much everything. You got dining, shopping, schools, even the beaches. Cons, a little bit of a higher cost and a slower pace that might not fit your lifestyle if you crave nightlife. But don't worry, because Atlantic Ave and Delray is just a short drive away. If Boca's mix of luxury, privacy, and family-friendly living sounds like your kind of move, or if you're still deciding, my real estate team works with buyers and sellers across not only Boca, but all of South Florida. You can call us, text us, or email us. All of our information is in the description. We'll put it on the screen as well. Now, these 3 cities, 3 totally different ways to live the South Florida dream. Let's line them up and see which one checks the boxes for you and your family. In South Florida, you can drive 30 minutes and land in 3 completely different worlds. Honestly, a ton of different worlds. Pompano's the laid-back coastal one. You got salt air hitting you before the water's even in sight. Fishing lines dropping right off the pier or in your backyard. And rib rolls at Flanagan's, one of the best things you could ever get. Neighbors who actually wave at you like they've known you for years. Now, you can still find condos here near the sand at prices that are often well below both Boca and Fort Lauderdale. But changes in the air and locals really feel it, especially if you grew up here. You also see it in the sky with all the new projects coming. Now, Fort Lauderdale, that's pure motion. Yachts lined up on the canals, water taxis gliding under drawbridges. I mean, most people take that anyway. The smell of fresh bread on Las Olas in the morning, along with all the donuts, and by night, rooftops buzzing, music and people spilling into the streets. You can just feel the energy. From a historic Victoria Park bungalow to a sleek ocean view high-rise, the range here is absolutely massive. And there's something at almost every price point for everyone. And then we got Boca. Well, it is the Boca bubble. Palm trees shading quiet streets, golf carts rolling past country clubs, and then Meisner Park really glowing under string lights, and beaches where you hear more seabirds than people, traffic, or even cars. Inside the gates at Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club, life stays polished and private. And honestly, that's part of why property values here have such a strong track record year over year over year. The same coastline, 3 completely different lives. Now, which one really feels like yours? If you're still caught in between, that's where my real estate team and I really come in, because helping people find their South Florida is really what we do every single day. Find what's really their South Florida and where they feel like at home. So here we are, Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, and Boca. Same stretch of coastline, 3 completely different ways to live that South Florida dream. If one of them already feels like home, or if you're still torn between them, like, oh, I really like Fort Lauderdale, but I also really love what Pompano's got going on and those price points, along with all of the development, that's exactly where my team and I come in. We've helped dozens of families just like you and yours find the perfect place here in South Florida. Whether it's a condo right there on the beach, a single family home on the water with deep water access, ultimately the dream, or out west with a little bit of land, lower taxes, lower insurance, but still not too far away from the action, we can help. You can call us, text us, or email us anytime. Our information's on the screen and down in the description. Now, if you're not ready to choose yet, that's completely fine, because we're putting together information and videos just like these, taking you street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood, and even county by county, so you can see the real style of living in South Florida, the ones that you won't find on Zillow or in the listing photos. Whatever we can do to help, let us know, and we'll see you in the next video.